Thanks, Elizabeth. And speaking of weather, the first weather stations will be installed in the Swan and Flathead mountain ranges. KAJ's Marin Sue says officials hope these stations can provide more accurate weather and avalanche predictions.
Parts of a brand new weather station sit here waiting to be assembled. The final product will sit in the Flathead mountain range, and hopefully the data from that will keep people safer.
Until now, Zach Guy, director of the Flathead Avalanche Center, says the center had limited access to weather station data to predict weather and avalanche patterns. Guy recounts when this limitation affected the center's forecasting and could have been dangerous for those in the Flathead mountain range.
We got surprised. We were expecting 6 inches in the Flathead range, and we went into the field after we had produced the forecast, and they got 2 feet of snow, and that was a significant difference. We saw an avalanche cycle, which we weren't expecting, and all that could have been prevented if we had a better handle of what had happened with that storm, and a weather station in the mountains would have clued us in.
Guy says using donations, the Avalanche Center will install 3 weather stations, 1 wind station in the Swan Range and 2 more in the Flathead Range for wind and snow.
The weather stations will more accurately give us hourly information on wind, snow, and temperature. Those are 3 critical pieces to forecasting for avalanches.
But avalanche specialist Clancy Nelson says it's not easy installing these stations. Location, angle, and elevation are all accounted for.
It needed to be out of the wilderness so that we're not installing, permanent or temporary structures somewhere that's protected.
He says these stations could be right in the pathway of an avalanche. So he studied the area carefully to find the perfect location.
I spent several days bushwhacking and hiking around out there in the woods, and looking at the surrounding terrain and figuring out what the max runout of an avalanche in the area could be, and then finding a site that would be representative outside of that path.
Guy says the Avalanche Center plans to have all stations up and running by next winter.
Nelson says these weather stations will also help during fire season, producing crucial wind readings and data for firefighters. In Hungry Horse, Marin Sue, MTN News.
Guy says the first wind station is already installed on Mount Aeneas in the Swan Mountain range.